Farming has been the backbone of human civilization for thousands of years, providing the food necessary for survival and allowing societies to flourish. However, in ancient times, farming was far more labor-intensive and reliant on simple tools compared to today's high-tech agricultural practices. The methods people used to cultivate the land and grow crops were grounded in hard work, knowledge of the environment, and a deep understanding of nature's cycles. These traditional farming techniques laid the foundation for modern agriculture, and despite the absence of advanced machinery, farmers of the past were remarkably skilled at working with what they had. The earliest farming techniques were centered around the use of basic hand tools, such as hoes, spades, and digging sticks, which were used to prepare the soil. These tools were crafted from wood, stone, or metal, and they played an essential role in loosening the earth, allowing farmers to plant seeds and remove weeds. The physical effort required to work the land with these rudimentary tools was immense, and it demanded that farmers possess both strength and stamina. In the absence of plows or modern machinery, the process of tilling the soil and making it suitable for planting was incredibly laborious. Every task was done by hand, and farmers had to be in tune with the rhythms of nature to ensure a successful crop. As farming evolved, animals became crucial companions in the field. The domestication of animals such as oxen, horses, and donkeys revolutionized farming, allowing larger fields to be worked more efficiently. Oxen, in particular, were used to pull plows through the soil, breaking it up and preparing it for planting. These draft animals were yoked to wooden plows, and though they provided valuable assistance, they still required careful management. Farmers had to ensure their animals were well fed, trained, and in good health to maintain a successful farming operation. Even with the help of draft animals, farming was still a physically demanding and time-consuming job. The introduction of animal labor made larger-scale farming possible, but it was still far from the automated processes we see today. Along with animal power, one of the key techniques that early farmers used to maintain healthy soil was crop rotation. Unlike modern farming, which often relies on synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, ancient farmers understood the importance of giving their soil time to regenerate. They rotated crops to prevent soil depletion, which could occur when the same crops were planted year after year. For example, after a season of planting grain crops, farmers would plant legumes such as beans or peas. These crops helped restore nitrogen to the soil, a vital nutrient that plants need to grow. By practicing crop rotation, ancient farmers ensured that their land remained fertile for years to come, preventing the degradation that can occur from monoculture farming practices. Once the crops grew to maturity, the next phase of farming was the harvest. Farmers in ancient times used basic tools like sickles, scythes, and knives to cut down crops such as wheat, barley, and oats. Harvesting by hand was a delicate and labor-intensive task that required great skill. Farmers had to ensure they cut the crops without damaging the grain, which would be used for food, seed, or trade. After the crops were harvested, they had to be bundled together and threshed. Threshing was the process of separating the edible grains from the straw and chaff, which was typically done by hand or with the help of animals. Sometimes animals were driven in circles over the harvested crops to trample them, separating the grain from the rest of the plant. This was one of the most important steps in the entire farming process, as it ensured that the harvested food was ready to be stored, consumed, or sold. Another practice that set early farmers apart was seed saving. Unlike modern farmers who purchase seeds every year, ancient farmers saved part of their harvest to plant the following season. By carefully selecting the best seeds from their crops, they could ensure that only the strongest, most resilient plants were used to grow future crops. This practice not only allowed for a more sustainable farming system but also helped farmers adapt to changing conditions over time. Over generations, seed saving and selective breeding allowed farmers to develop crops that were better suited to local climates and environments, making them more resilient and productive. Farming in the old days was not only a solitary task but also a community effort. In many cultures, neighbors would come together during planting and harvest seasons to help one another with the labor. This collective approach to farming was a form of social cooperation, and it was a vital aspect of rural life. These communal efforts not only made the work easier but also fostered a strong sense of community and mutual support. The sharing of tools, knowledge, and labor was essential to ensure that everyone had enough to eat. Harvest festivals, feasts, and celebrations were often held as a way of marking the end of a season's hard work, allowing the community to come together and celebrate the fruits of their labor. Though these farming techniques were simple by today's standards, they were incredibly effective. Early farmers worked in harmony with the land, using methods that were sustainable and suited to their environment. They had a profound understanding of the seasons, the soil, and the plants they grew, and this knowledge was passed down through generations. Even without the benefit of modern machinery, early farmers were able to feed their communities and maintain healthy, productive farms. The hard work and ingenuity of these farmers laid the groundwork for today's agricultural practices, and their legacy continues to influence farming methods around the world. Modern technology has changed the way we farm, but the core principles of patience, hard work, and respect for the land remain just as important. While we rely on advanced machinery, irrigation systems, and synthetic fertilizers today, the traditional methods of farming continue to serve as a reminder of how closely connected people were to the land in the past. These techniques were not just about producing food, they were about building a sustainable way of life that relied on the earth's natural rhythms and the community's cooperation. In a world that is increasingly disconnected from nature, there is much we can still learn from the farmers of the past. Their wisdom, resourcefulness, and deep connection to the land are lessons that continue to resonate with modern farming practices and sustainability efforts today. If you found this story insightful, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and share this video. Thank you.